Let's bring in John Dickerson from Washington. He's, of course, our chief Washington correspondent and anchor of Face the Nation. So, John, we saw there the president ending the Oval Office section of your interview. From what he told you, where is President Trump with respect to his initial claims of surveillance?
Well, I think he's still pretty much where he is on those claims. FBI Director Comey had said there was no evidence that the Obama administration wiretapped Trump Tower, but President Trump clearly still believes that and blames President Obama for it.
Well, you flew with the president to his Harrisburg rally and talked to him backstage. Let's go ahead and play a clip.
Do you think they care about how it's paid for? No, I know they want the wall, but do you think they care if Mexico pays for the whole thing or it's financed?
Mexico is going to pay.
You know, 100%. Whole thing?
100%. They're going to be happy with it. They'll be very happy to pay.
Mexico will be happy to pay?
They'll be very happy.
Really interesting exchange, John. We saw him reacting to the crowd chant, making sure that you saw that crowd chant. What do you think that the president gets out of these campaign-style rallies?
Well, I think he gets two things, and the rallies are different from the plant tours, and he was at a plant as well on Saturday. I think what he gets is a sense of why he's in Washington and why he's fighting the fights that he's fighting, and that he's got a lot of core, strong support from out there in the country. And I think what he saw at the plant tour was a group of workers who really feel energized and excited that he's in Washington fighting for them. And they feel like they never had a voice, and now he is their voice. So whatever frustrations he may have in Washington, those voters look at him and see the bruises and scars and perhaps broken plays of the first 100 days, and they think that that's all proof that he's fighting hard for them.
In terms of the political sort of tableau here, when you look at these supporters, do you think that they translate into political leverage at all for the president as he tries to perhaps woo wary members of his own party on various policy issues?
I think it does translate into leverage. You saw a position, I mean, the president's approval ratings are quite low, and you've seen some Republicans distance themselves from him, or at least be critical of him on the questions of whether he should release his tax returns or whether he should be spending so much time in Mar-a-Lago. And so that could suggest that he doesn't have the hold over his party that you might think. But if you go to those rallies and you see this connection, any Republican who would buck the president is making a big gamble because they are gambling that very intense support cannot be turned against them. And politicians are usually pretty risk averse. And Donald Trump's connection with his base and their really strong affection for him is still very powerful in the Republican Party.
Well, John, in your time there in Harrisburg, what did you gather from the president's supporters about their impression of the first 100 days?
Well, they think, first of all, 100 days is short. They're going to give him 4 years, not just 100 days. They think that any difficulties he's having is because he's fighting the entrenched interests of the swamp. They are not overly concerned about this or that detail. That's why I was asking him about who's going to pay for the wall, because there is a theory among a lot of people I've talked to who understand conservative politics, and the appeal of his Build the Wall is that the wall is his symbol as much as it is an actual thing. I mean, his voters would be upset if after 4 years there weren't bricks in place, but it is a sign of his intention to pay attention to this crucial issue for his voters, and they care about that. And so whether Mexico in the end pays for 100% of the wall, as President Trump said they were, there is a theory that that's not that important. What's important is that that a wall gets put up, or that immigration is slowed to zero in some other fashion, and so the specific details may not be as important.
All right, John Dickerson in Washington for us. John, thank you.
Thanks, Elaine.